In today's podcast, I want to talk to you about creating a yearly plan and share a quick overview of the steps that I take in preparing my curricular plan for a new school year.
Welcome to the PE Express podcast. 2 to 3 times a week, a PE expert will share a tip, activity idea, or teaching strategy to help you become a better PE professional. Today's host is a passionate physical education teacher leader from Geneva, Illinois. He is a national presenter and the 2019 Illinois Akeford Elementary PE Teacher of the Year, Mike Graham.
Typically during the summer, I'm going to sit down and begin planning for the upcoming year. One of the first things I like to do is to set up what I refer to as my yearly plan. Now, this yearly plan basically serves as a point of reference for me so that I can see all of the units and skills and concepts that I'm teaching at a glance. And when I get this piece done, it kind of lets me relax because now I can build my assessments and my units and my individual lesson plans. But I have to have that yearly plan, framework, or template in place before I can do a lot of those things. Now, there's a couple things that you're going to need in order to do this. And the first thing is you got to get a copy of your school district calendar. So print off a copy of that. That's going to have all the important information that you need to plan out your school year. It's going to have, obviously, the holidays and days off, vacation days, half days. It'll tell you when your marking period, grading periods end. And the next thing you're going to need is some kind of monthly calendar. Now, it doesn't matter if you prefer like a paper calendar or an electronic one, but you definitely need something. I like to kind of create my own because it lets me customize things the way that I like them. Now, this is going to be a working document, and by that I mean it's going to change throughout the year. Things come up like field trips and assemblies, or maybe you've got days missed due to inclement weather or whatever. So I like to have the flexibility to just change that around accordingly. The next thing I do after I have my district calendar and the calendar template that I'm going to plug in, I get a copy of the national standards, the grade level outcomes from Shape America. And that document is going to serve as a guide for me and let me know which skills and concepts should be taught at what grade levels. And I teach kindergarten through 5, so there's a lot of content to fit in a given year. And I only see my kids twice a week, so that makes it even more difficult to get through everything. But keep in mind that the Shape America standards, grade level outcomes were written for a 5-day-a-week program. So give yourself some grace if there's things that you don't get to in a given year. I know there's definitely things that I don't cover in a year. Many of you also might prefer to use your own state standards, or maybe you have to use those over the national standards, but the process is going to be pretty much the same. Once I have my calendar in front of me, the first thing I do is I start to look for blocks of time that have full weeks. I try to place things on the calendar that I consider to be like the need to know skills and concepts. I put those wherever there's uninterrupted weeks. And those nice-to-know activities, like, parachute or scooters or cup stacking or something that I don't want to do a long extended unit on, just maybe a day or two here or there, I'll put those on like any shortened weeks. Me personally, I like to start the year with a lot of team building activities, especially with my older students. And my younger students spend a lot of times on things that I call just procedural activities, like starting and stopping on the signal and finding a partner, making groups or sorting out equipment, just your basic class management type stuff. And for me, this takes about 3 or 4 weeks at the beginning of the school year, because when we first start, we go back to school on a Wednesday, and then the second week of school, we have Friday off, and the third week of school is a holiday, it's Labor Day, and so then we've got, the first 3 weeks of school, we don't have a full week. It's not until that 4th week, and so in those first 3 weeks of school, some classes I'll see 6 times, and some classes I'll only see 3, so kind of plays havoc on my schedule. But pretty soon, my calendar is full, and this is where it's nice to have this document because it shows me at a glance what I'm teaching, but it also gives me the flexibility to shorten or lengthen a unit based on what the students are demonstrating during class. It also helps keep me organized so that I know in advance which units are coming up, and as I come across new activities on Twitter or in talking to other colleagues, if I find something that might tie into something I'm going to teach, well, now I've got a spot to kind of plug those things in. And that's really it in a nutshell. I mean, those are the 3 things you need. You need the district calendar, you need some kind of calendar to write those things in, and have a copy of the grade level outcomes. If you want more details on setting up a yearly plan, do what I did. do a Google search. Type in PE yearly plan. You're going to find a ton of great resources from other PE teachers sharing the different systems that work for them. And if you click on images, you're even going to be able to see a ton of examples that you might want to use as a template. So remember, if you fail the plan, you're planning to fail. Don't do that to yourself this year. Don't do it to your students. Spend the time to create a yearly plan this summer and know what you're going to teach all year long.
If you enjoyed the podcast, be sure to connect with Mike on Twitter at PE for Every Kid. Don't forget to subscribe to the PE Express podcast for more tips, activity ideas, and strategies to help you become a better PE professional. We'll see you soon, right here on the PE Express podcast, powered by Gopher, your resource for all things physical education.